Excuse me, Mr. X. Hi. I've read some of your speeches, and I honestly believe that a lot of what you have to say is true. And I'm a good person in spite of what my ancestors did. I wanted to ask you, what can a white person like myself, who isn't prejudiced, what can I do to help you and further your cause?
Nothing.
Alright, the election is done. I don't have anything else to add to it, so let's get back to work. What I'm going to talk about today might rub some people the wrong way. What else is new? And Julie Woods, forgive me beforehand for using you as an example. But what I notice on this platform and in life in general is that a lot of people like to play ignorant. I don't think anything bothers me to my soul like witnessing a black person try to explain to a white person why the black community is in the state of despair that it's in. I mean, it just irks the shit out of me. That'll never be me. White people, we could talk about sports, politics, current events, how to end world hunger, who has the best barbecue, and you name the city. But I don't care to talk to anyone who isn't black about issues within the black community, because no one can do anything for us except us. Let me tell y'all what ignorance is, man. Let me tell y'all a little story. I grew up in North Las Vegas, affectionately known as Northtown. I've heard Spanish being spoken before I ever knew what language was. I was always told that the people who spoke Spanish are Mexicans. So, as I grew, everyone who spoke Spanish or looked like they spoke Spanish was a Mexican to me. The man that carried me to my door when I ran into the swing was a Mexican. The first chick I smashed was a Mexican. The man that was pushing the cart selling corn was a Mexican. I carried on believing this all the way up until my sophomore year in high school. It was a black chick that used to sit in front of me, named Michelle. Directly to the left of me was a Mexican chick named Letty. And one day Letty was speaking to somebody else in class, and I guess whatever she said must have been funny, because Michelle started laughing. Then she turned around and spoke to Letty, and that Spanish flew out her mouth so fluently, messed me up. Well, we're a decent amount of time into the school year, and I've never heard Michelle speak Spanish. So now I'm curious George around this bit. So I asked her, "Where'd you learn to speak Spanish?" That's when she laughed at me. That's when I learned that she was from Panama, her and her older sister, who also looked black. And that her name really wasn't Michelle, it was just easier for Americans to pronounce. From that day forward, I have never associated Spanish-speaking people in Las Vegas as just being Mexican. I asked where they're from. My boy Christian, he's from Puerto Rico, but you know I ain't even have to ask that. They make sure you know who they are. Crystal is Salvadorian. My old J-Dub Nelson was born in Turkey, but his family is from El Salvador. He has properties down there. Every time I wanted to get Nelson activated, I put on some, Juan Gabriel, Jose, or Vicente Fernandez, and it was go time. We knocked that work out in no time while he's singing at the top of his lungs in the middle of a solar field. But out of all the people who would have been Mexican at an earlier stage in my life, it was the person that I knew the least amount of time that stood out the most. I met Rebecca when I was 17. She was 19 at the time. Rebecca was bad. I'm talking one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. I was trying to get at her, take her to the movies, go bowling, some 17-year-old shit. She shot me down because unbeknownst to me, she was married. And I'm like, damn, you married at 19 years old? She said, I've been married since I was 14. It's pretty common where I'm from in Costa Rica. So not only were my eyes open to the fact that not all Spanish-speaking people in Vegas were Mexican, but coming to that understanding allowed me to learn where people were from and learn pretty early in life that not all Spanish-speaking cultures are the same. I say all of this to say that I believed one thing, learned that what I believed wasn't in fact true, and I adjusted on my end. But that was true ignorance. Ignorance affords you the opportunity to learn something new and make the proper adjustment. But if a person has a belief that they come to learn isn't true, but they don't make the adjustment afterwards, what does that make them? Some may say it's a fine line between ignorance, naivety, and bigotry. I say it's a defined line between the three. Here's the tricky thing though. Only you know what you know, and that affords you the opportunity to be naive or even a bigot in peace. That allows people to be comfortable in their beliefs, because with every new environment, every new conversation, every new channel's comment section behind a screen name and avatar, a new opportunity to act like they don't know presents itself, allowing them to be comfortable, not in what they know, but rather in what they want to believe. But hey, if nothing else is true, reality is undefeated. If you believe something different than the truth, eventually it will show. They say if you let someone speak long enough. I say if you let someone live long enough. You know what I've seen damn near every day for months? Is a black person on this platform speaking about what migrants are getting. They're getting this much cash and this much in food stamps, and they're getting housing, and they're trying to get them jobs. On video, highly emotional over what the US government is providing for yet another group. And I love seeing it. Not because it further proves my point on how other ethnicities are truly received when they show up on foreign land in large groups, but because if that's what it takes for you to understand that ain't nobody coming to save your black ass and that you gotta get out here and get it on your own, I'll take it. We are the subordinate caste in this country, and it will always be that way because it was designed to be that way. The only change that'll be made is the change you make yourself. But it's not like you didn't know that. The US government giving migrants a stimulus package while you can't get a home loan, a business loan, or student loan forgiveness is mild in comparison to what they've shown us in the past. The US giving aid to a specific group while the current administration's VP and former presidential candidate told you that she's not going to sit there and say that she's going to do something that only benefits black people is mild in comparison to the actions they've shown us in the past. Actions that clearly stated, we don't give a fuck about you. Stop expecting white America to finally understand the plight of black Americans. Stop expecting a system that oppressed you to save you from oppression. Stop expecting the government that passed laws creating this wealth gap to make you whole again by giving you reparations. Stop playing ignorant. You got groups out here been begging for reparations for decades. Ain't got a dime. Meanwhile, Venezuelans out here, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, big ballin' with the homies, boom, 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 on America's dime. If they wanted to give you reparations, if they wanted to show support to your cause, if they wanted to uplift your community, they would have done it by now. They are not ignorant of your plight. They are complicit in it. They're not doing anything for you because they don't care to. They don't speak up on your behalf because they don't care to. They're not ignorant, and neither are you. It's not Black history. It's American history. They were there. Black history is only what happened in spaces where they weren't present. Nat Turner planning the rebellion is Black history. The Nat Turner rebellion is American history. It's not that they don't understand, it's that they don't care to. And I can go back and forth with the Julie Woods of the world and try to help them understand what black culture is. But unfortunately, this channel isn't about educating white people about us. This is about us. Improving things in situations having to do with us. Because there is nothing anyone else can do for us to help improve anything for us. The sooner we come to this realization, the sooner we can get to work on building something for ourselves. See, the reason why it irks me to watch and hear certain conversations between black and white people is because it irks me to watch two people play ignorant with each other.